Braehead Clan is strictly business. Now, it sounded pretty hard, but at the time, this was in our second season, and I think most of the people in the room actually respected his honesty and all of that. I think the problem he has now is that coming out with something like that, whilst it may be factual, you have people who have been around quite a long time around the clan. They put a lot of money into the club. They're far more emotionally invested in it now. That, I think back in season 2, we're just grateful to have professional ice hockey. Thank you, Mr. Black. Whereas, whilst that should always be a factor, and you've rightly acknowledged that, some people tell you that should still be the foremost factor and forget everything else. Well, you can't do that. And things have moved on, and as a fan base, we've moved on. So now you have financially and emotionally invested fans who don't really want to hear that. It's okay, but even despite that, what's happening with our club? What direction is it to go in? Are we just to be the best in Scotland, or do you want something more from the clan than that? Because that's certainly what we want, and that's kind of the message that he has to get on the night. But it's how that's put across. It needs to be done respectfully, and as you say, hopefully nobody gets into any trouble. But that's the kind of situation that needs to potentially arise, which needs to be handled properly and hopefully respectfully by both sides.
Yeah, and also see all of us, and let's hope it's a successful evening. Moving on. European Hockey Alliance Business Forum, good for the club, or what? Is it just a jolly? Really? I don't really know an awful lot about it. But anything that raises the club's name in Europe, considering some of the negative stuff that's happened in the Elite League over the last few weeks and months, then, anything that's positive and gets the clan's name out there, I don't know how it can be a bad thing. I don't know if there's any different views on that, Graham.
Graham.
Well, it was one of the topics you wanted to talk about.
No, it was, I just threw it in there as potentially something we can talk about. Coming away from the ice hockey environment, I've been to lots of business forums over the years, and I can tell you now, half of them were a complete and utter waste of time. But in terms of, I follow the European Hockey Alliance Twitter account, and I like to think I'm interested in the bigger picture. And we know that Neil Black's the Elite League representative for, so obviously he goes. Gareth obviously goes representing the clan. And I think there is value from it. Again, I don't have that much idea about the content. I saw the agenda. I've seen photos of a few slides. And it all appears to be good stuff. There's lots of things in there, really encompassing every aspect of the hockey scene, from the investment, from the media, community involvement, all these things. Again, knowing our opinion of our owner on some of these issues, it'd be interesting to see whether he's at all swayed by anything that may or may not have been said at these forums, given that he's an active participant in them. But yeah, it was just kind of the point that I think they should be a good thing. The business forums that I've been to in the past, if you are going there to network and that's kind of it, then they tend to be a bit of a waste of time. If the content is good and you're going there with the idea of genuinely trying to pick up on some new stuff and potentially using some of it, then that's fine. The one thing I always did, and I'm speaking now as an ex-sales manager, the one thing I did when I went to a business forum was I had a very sceptical sales team to go back to, who wondered why I wasn't around for 2 or 3 days. And the first thing I did was I would tell them what the business forum was all about, so they didn't think it was just a jolly I was on. So I put together a very short presentation built on what I'd seen and what I'd learned, and if some of it was a waste of time, I'd just tell them. But they had a good idea then of what was discussed, and if there was anything, it would then there would actually be a bit of a debate about it. I don't know, maybe this will come out of the Q&A on Wednesday night. Maybe there's something else that get talked about. What was the area of interest from the business forum, and is there anything that you can potentially see applied, to the Elite League and to the clan? I think these would be good questions for Neil and Gareth on Wednesday night. So yeah, it was just the point that I think they are worth something if your attitude towards them is correct, and most importantly that you feed back on them. So knowing that Gareth was there, and I've seen Gareth already tweet out about the fact that it was an interesting forum, fine. I'm kind of hoping, obviously, it's not for us to know every single detail, but I'm kind of hoping there may be some feedback from Gareth maybe on Wednesday night about it, which would probably be the ideal time. But yeah, let's just hear something about it. And is there anything that potentially can be applied to the clan? Just give us some insight in terms of what went on. Not everybody's interested in that sort of thing. Obviously, I'm maybe in a minority, but yeah, some kind of feedback to the fan base would probably be quite useful from that point of view.
Well, I was actually just going to turn to Stephen and say, do you care?
No, really. Well, I can't answer that for once because I don't even know what it is.
There you go.
That proves a point.
Yeah.
Well, I said it as well. I don't really have a full idea what they're going to get out of it when they go over anyway. I mean, to me as well, there's such a big gulf between the top clubs in Europe, the top leagues in Europe, and where we are, that, some of it probably wouldn't apply to us. I don't know if it caters for, the smaller leagues, the smaller teams, because maybe sometimes, they're talking about things that are just, we're not yet they're going to be attainable for us as a club. I don't know. But, but I think that sums it up. There isn't an awful lot of information out there about what it's actually doing and what we're gaining from it. So, yeah.
To be fair, it does seem like the sort of thing that can only benefit us, for if we're getting together with other leagues, discussing strategies, how to take the game forward, how to improve things. On paper, it does sound like something that would benefit not only the clan but the EIHL in general if the right steps are taken to use some of the ideas that are going, but without having any idea of. Unlike Graham, I didn't really follow. All I saw was that picture of Gareth and the guy who I think something to do with the CHL in a clan jersey. I don't know who he is. I might be wrong. He might not have entered CHL at all, but that is my total observation of the whole event. So, if I'd paid attention when I was flicking through the group chat earlier to see what we were going to be talking about, I would have looked into it, but I didn't, so can't really comment.
Jennifer, no ask you yet.
So, I'm just laughing at Stephen not doing his homework.
To be fair, I was at work for once. I work normal shifts now, so...
Yeah, no, I mean, anything that's going to raise the profile of the league can only be benefit. Do you know what I mean, we're in the very fortunate position, obviously. We've got Panthers. I couldn't think of the team name there. I'm like, what are they called? I was going to say Nottingham. Panthers doing really well in the Continental Cup last year, and then obviously progressing to the next round in the CHL, which basically means, or I hope it means, that people are actually kind of sitting up and kind of paying attention that there is actually a league in the UK, because a lot of people probably still aren't quite aware that there is a hockey league in the UK. So it's if it means we're going to get 2 spaces next year, then that's always a bonus, isn't it? It's nice to see. Nice to see the teams doing well.
And I don't think we've really got anything else, unless there's any topics that anybody wants to bring up that we haven't really skirted about tonight. That's been a kind of...
Me.
Oh, you? Oh, good, here we go. Right.
And it goes back to officiating, but it's not just officiating in this league, because I've noticed it when I was watching the heroic Maple Leafs pump the Dirty Bruins twice over the weekend.
I wondered if you were going to mention that, Stephen. Sorry, Ross.
I'm quite happy. I don't care.
I hate them so much. I hate them. You've got a young team. We're a team of veterans in the Maple Leafs, aren't we? Anyway.
We're number 1 draft picks, let's not forget. Right, on you go.
1. So, yeah, see this whole thing about them wanting to enforce face-off violations. I understand that. See the linesmen trying to fake out players so they can throw them out when they go ahead of when they're dropping it. I was furious last night. I don't even know what linesman it was, but he kept going to drop it and then no, and like it's like what you do with your dog with a ball. You show them it and you pretend you're going to throw it or drop it or whatever, and it's like, just drop the bloody puck. Just get the game going, and especially when we're on the penalty kill already, because I think it was Shattuck the other week got thrown out for delay a game because he was going ahead of the play, and it's just drop the puck. Anyone just do it. I was so angry last night, and I was going into the game thinking I'm going to sit here, be sad, and then go home, and then I was getting needlessly angry at just shenanigans by the officials, and it's not even Pavel this time. He was a ref, he had nothing to do with it, but just drop the puck. I had a few people comment that they thought the same, including our friend Joel from the Fourth Line podcast. He made a wee comment on it earlier as well.
Joel's got a thing about that because it does happen a lot in the NHL, and I've heard the Fourth Line podcast boys talk about it quite a bit over the time, because it is an ongoing issue there, and I don't think the regulations don't help. I wasn't paying that much attention to it at that point. I was otherwise distracted, but I'm assuming it was maybe because the players who were facing against each other weren't correctly positioned or something like that.
I don't know. It just seemed like every face-off was taking longer than it had to be. You know, it's ice hockey's meant to be a fast game. Just drop the bloody puck and get on with it. It's like I like going to the game and getting home at a reasonable time because I'm old now. You know, I just want to be in the house in my bed, especially working day shift now. So it's delaying the game. It's the other point of this is as well is the fact that this is a rule change that was introduced mid-season. I don't think we've talked about that, have we?
No.
So that's a beer league move to go, all right, we need to change the rules midway through the season because we couldn't be bothered doing it at the beginning of the season. That's just daft as well.
There is a school of thought, though, that the rule's always been there. It's just that now it's getting penalised severely for infractions. So that's the problem. When I saw the rule change, such as it was, I thought to myself, if the teams, have they had enough time to address this in training sessions? You know, have the officials had enough time to get their head around all this because they've got enough to deal with at the moment with a 3-man system? And I thought we might have a bit of mayhem over the weekend. I don't think it happened. I haven't heard too much reaction from elsewhere around any of the other games. But, you know, as I say, as I understand it, it's not a rule change as such. It's just a change in the enforcement of the rules to make sure that I think you get one chance, and after that, it's a bench minor, isn't it? So
is that not worse though? That the league's basically saying this was a rule, but nobody was enforcing it.
Pretty much.
So never quite
I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah.
So it's funny you're saying about that as well. You know, there's a rule I'd like to, because I was talking to somebody about it last night when I saw Liam Stewart after an icing trying to sneak onto the bench and almost getting away with it. Why don't they just make that a bench penalty, a bench minor? Because it would soon stop players trying to cheat onto the off. You know, I know it's a kind of old hockey thing. You know, we've just iced it and I'm knackered. Let's see if I can outfox a linesman. You know, but why not just make it a bench minor if you get caught, and then they'll soon stop bloody doing it? Do you know what I mean? That's another thing I'm not really getting.
Well, we almost played a full shift with 6 men on the ice on Saturday night, apparently. So yeah, you know, you need to watch that.
So and look how that game turned out for us as well. That should tell you something about the performance on Saturday.
Yeah, well, what happened with Belfast done it against us a few weeks ago. Managed to play for about 30 seconds with 6 men. So, you know, I'm just saying, no, I mean, the icing thing, they end up getting the advantage of getting, I know it's all part of the play, get your guys a breather, you know, muck about, maybe deliberately get kicked out the face-off, and you know, you get another breather. So, yeah, I kind of get all that, but it's just kind of like, it's a stoppage to the game, and it kind of can go on and on a wee bit too long. So that's what I'm saying, just make it a bench minor, and you'll not get anybody trying to hide.
While we're on the subject of unusual penalties, see the delay of game that we got. I always thought that you had to be in the defending zone and hit the puck out to get delay a game, and I'm pretty certain that puck came from the neutral zone before it went out.
I don't remember. You do, but I don't actually.
I think they can. I think if they decide it was intentional, they can still.
Yeah, that's what I thought. My reading was if it's intentional. Yeah.
But it's the game's so quick though. It's hard to tell who the ref is making a judgment call on whether it was intentional or not. It's dumb. But as Lansky, he's a. We'll call him a character. I like him, don't get me wrong, but I've even put it in the WhatsApp group last night with about 2 minutes to go after the hit in Bjorklund. You could just see that there was a good chance he was going to do something dumb. Thankfully he didn't, and we saw out the game, but I could just see him like losing the plot and giving away something, but I don't know if he was kept on the bench for that reason or just told no to, but good on him for no ruining it for us.
So is that us now?
I just needed that rant about the linesman.
That's fine.
I've got one more wee thing to say.
Fine.
The lead up to basically Bjorklund getting that really, really bad hit. I mean, obviously, like Shattuck had basically, well, some hit into Leadhammer. I don't know if you heard it. I think it was a proper clatter, and I think he did exactly the same thing just after. And I don't know if what Leadhammer did to Bjorklund was kind of some sort of